Carlos Alcaraz stood as the heart and soul of Team Europe's triumph in the 2024 Clevver Cup, his brilliance lighting up the Uber Arena in Berlin. On the final day, the young Spanish champion, once more reclaiming the confidence that had seemed to slip through his fingers, shone on the court. First, he and his friend, Casper Ruud, claimed a spirited doubles victory. Then, in the match that would decide it all, Alcaraz faced off against Taylor Fritz, the US Open finalist, and delivered a performance that electrified the crowd and sealed the fate of the weekend. The victory was more than just a win for Team Europe, it was a revival for Alcaraz. After the heartbreak of losing to Novak Djokovic in the Olympic final, a dream of gold shattered, he had struggled to find his spark. The weight of that defeat lingered over him, casting shadows over his play in Cincinnati and at the US Open. Yet here in Berlin, the fog seemed to lift. Carlitos, with his fiery spirit and the relentless determination that had once taken him to World No. 1, found himself again. In this moment of redemption, Alcaraz's presence was nothing short of essential. Without him, Team World might have claimed a third consecutive Clevver Cup. Instead, the young Spaniard delivered 8 of Europe's 13 points, becoming the decisive force that turned the tide in their favor. The weight of expectation rested on his shoulders, and he carried it with the grace of a champion, stepping into a role once held by the legends before him. His 3 wins, 2 in singles and 1 in doubles, came at critical junctures, especially on Sunday, when each victory was worth 3 points. In doing so, Alcaraz surpassed the previous record set by Roger Federer, whose 7 points in 2017 had once been the mark of excellence in the Clevver Cup. But beyond the points and the victories, this weekend in Berlin offered Alcaraz something more, something deeper. It gave him a chance to step away from the pressure of competition and meet the men he usually faces across the net as teammates, as friends. It's wonderful for me to have spent time here with my teammates, and also to know the person behind the player, he reflected. We always compete under a lot of pressure, and people tend to judge us by what they see on the court. But there are great people behind each player. Getting to know each other outside of the court was fantastic. This camaraderie seemed to renew his spirit, and in the decisive match against Fritz, Alcaraz felt his game surge with life again. I hope now to be able to play the rest of the year just like I did against Fritz. I think it was one of my best games in recent times. I want to continue this aggressive tennis, go to the net, and be the one who dictates the rhythm of the game. He knows too, that the path ahead is steep. With Jannik Sinner holding a commanding lead of over 4,000 points in the ATP rankings, the chance to close 2024 at World No. 1 has all but slipped from Alcaraz's grasp. Yet, he doesn't seem to carry regret, only resolve. He speaks of his rivalry with Sinner with hope and admiration, seeing in it the potential for something grand, something historic. I hope our rivalry is going to be or almost be like the big 3 had during their whole careers, he muses. This is the first year that we shared all the Grand Slams. Hopefully, it's going to keep going like that, sharing great moments, fighting for the great tournaments, the Grand Slams, the Masters 1000s. In Alcaraz's voice, there is a longing, not just for victories, but for the journey that lies ahead, a journey that he and Sinner, like the legends before them, will walk together. In their battles, there is the promise of something enduring, something that will define an era, much like Federer, Nadal, and Djokovic did before them. Carlos Alcaraz has found his way again, and in doing so, he has reminded the world that greatness is not just about the titles and trophies, but the battles fought along the way, the moments shared with rivals who become friends, and the courage to rise from defeat with a heart full of hope.